video is going to teach us how to multiply and divide numbers given in scientific notation. Beginning with multiplying numbers in scientific notation, let's look at the example 2 times 10 to the 9th power times 6.1 times 10 to the 5th power. So our first step when we're multiplying numbers in scientific notation is to multiply our coefficients. So in this case, we would be multiplying 6.1 times 2. So 2 times 6.1, we know that equals 12.2. Our second step is to multiply our exponents, so 10 to the 9th times 10 to the 5th. When we multiply two numbers with the same base, we need to remember that we add our exponents. So 10 to the 9th times 10 to the 5th is like saying 10 to the 9 plus 5th power, which would be 10 to the 14th power. So now my final answer is 12.2 times 10 to the 14th power. When we think about correct scientific notation, we need to remember that scientific notation is always written where our first term is between 1 and 10. In this case, 12.2 is bigger than 10, so we need to move our decimal point one more space to the left. 1.22 will be our new coefficient or our new first term. But since we moved our decimal point one place to the left, that means when we multiply by our power of 10, it's going to have to move the decimal point one extra point over. So instead of 14, our new exponent or our new power is going to be 15. So our final answer is 1.22 times 10 to the 15th power. Okay. Thinking about dividing numbers in scientific notation, our process is very similar. We're just dividing instead of multiplying. So if we had the problem 9.3 times 10 to the 14th divided by 3.1 times 10 to the 3rd, my first step is going to be to divide my coefficients. So I'm going to do 9.3 divided by 3.1. When I do that, I get the number 3. My second step is to divide my powers of 10. So if I have 10 to the 14th divided by 10 to the 3rd, we remembered last year that we just subtract those exponents because we have the same base. So this is like saying 10 to the 14 minus 3rd power. So we get 10 to the 11th. And then our last step is to put our final answer in scientific notation. So we're going to have 3 times 10 to the 11th power as our final answer. Okay, let's do 4 practice problems. If you want to pause the video and try these on your own, and then when you're finished, play the video to see if you got them right, that would be great. So starting with number 1, we have a division problem. 7 times 10 to the 6th power divided by 2 times 10 to the 12th power. Our first step is to divide our coefficients. So 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. Our second step is to divide our powers of 10. So 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the 12th. We subtract those exponents. So 6 minus 12 is negative 6. So my final answer would be 3.5 times 10 to the negative 6th power. My first term, my coefficient, is between 1 and 10, so nothing needs to change or be fixed in this answer. Okay, number 2, 5.6 times 10 to the 6th power divided by 4 times 10 to the 12th power. So again, my first step is to divide my coefficients. So 5.6 divided by 4 is 1.4. And then my second step is to subtract my exponent. So 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the 12th would again be 10 to the negative 6th power. So my final answer is 1.4 times 10 to the negative 6th power. All right, number 3. 3.98 times 10 to the 5th times 2.4 times 10 to the 6th. So again, my first step, I want to multiply my coefficients. So 3.98 times 2.4 is equal to 9.552. And then because I'm multiplying this time, my second step is to add my exponents. So 10 to the 5th times 10 to the 6th would be 10 to the 11th power. Again, my first term is between 1 and 10, so my answer is in correct form. And finally, number 4, 4.2 times 10 to the 17th times 1.32 times 10 to the negative 9th. So again, step 1 is to multiply my coefficients. 4.2 times 1.32 is equal to 5.554. And then I want to add my exponents because I'm multiplying. So 10 to the 17th times 10 to the negative 9th is equal to 10 to the 8th power. So my final answer is 5.554 times 10 to the 8th power.